All right, we're going to look at number 14 in section 3.7, calculate the derivative. Again, these problems all involve the chain rule, right? So make sure you're familiar with that. The chain rule says the derivative with respect to x of f of g of x, right? Where we have f is the outer function, g is the inner function, is the derivative of the outer function, evaluated at the inner function times the derivative of the inner function. So when we take the derivative here, notice cotangent, this is really cotangent of x to the 14th to the 7th power. That's the way we write it in shorthand notation, right? So the outer function here is u to the 7th power, whereas the inner function is the cotangent of x to the 14th. So the derivative of the outer function, u to the 7th, is 7u to the 6th, where u is cotangent of x to the 14th, times the derivative of that inner function. Right, that's the g prime of x, that's the derivative of the inner function. Well, when you take the derivative of this function, notice this is a composition of two functions. So we got chain rule here. This is chain rule inside of chain rule, if you want to say it that way. So we have outer function here, cotangent, inner function x to the 14th power. So what's the derivative of cotangent? You got to know that's negative cosecant squared, evaluated at the inner function of x to the 14th times the derivative of that inner function. X to the 14th is easy by the power rule. It's 14x cubed. So it's this thing times the red 14x cubed. So if I clean this up, the 14x cubed times a -1 times a 7 gives me -98 x to the 13th. And then I have cotangent of x to the 14th all to the 6th power. And then this cosecant squared x to the 14th, which can be written right this way. So again, this is, I think, the way maybe Achieve wants it. I'm not sure. You can also write it in this way, would be more compact, and that's the same thing. Either one is fine for me. I do like to bring the numerical factors up in front, right? So the 14 times -1 times 7, and then the x to the 13th power. So that makes it look a lot better. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful.